Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about people making predictions on when Christ is going to come back. Before I say anything, yes, I agree we should be, watching for the signs. Yes, we should be paying attention to the the prophecies, the end time prophecies that are coming to pass, like 2 Timothy chapter 3 and 4, for an example. Yes, we should be like watchmen. Yes, we should be like the five wise virgins that had the oil, being prepared for the wedding, basically, be strong in the Holy Spirit and in faith and be watchful for Christ the bridegroom. We should be like the faithful servant. Yes, we should be doing all that. I fully agree. But there is a difference between paying attention to the signs and, being ready. There's the difference between that and saying, oh, Christ is going to come back this year during this time. We are to pay attention to the signs. We're not to try to predict when Christ is coming back. Year after year, same thing. September's coming back. It's coming up. Oh, Christ is coming this year in September. Doesn't happen. Oh, October doesn't happen. Oh, this month doesn't happen. Oh, New Year doesn't happen. Oh, actually it's in March. Doesn't happen. It's the same cycle every year. And some of these people that do this are trying to go based off the Jewish feasts and try to say, oh, Jesus is going to come back during this particular Jewish feast. Listen, I understand why they're talking about the Jewish feast. Yes, it makes sense. But let me let me just throw this out there. I just want you to think about this. Many times when God does something, it doesn't make sense to us. Excuse me. Now, I am not saying that Christ may not come back during the Jewish feast. I'm not saying that it isn't a possibility. It is very possible that Christ could come back during one of the Jewish feasts, but in my opinion, it's also possible that maybe he won't. But my problem with them saying he's going to come back during this month, this year, is acting like a false prophet. Because when it doesn't happen, then they're like, oh, well, it's going to be this month during this time instead. And they do this again and again and again. And there's a lot of problems with it. First and foremost, again, they're in a way acting like false prophet. At least for the ones that are saying that this will happen this year, they're acting as a false prophet, in my opinion. Now, if they're being honest and just saying, well, this is what I think is going to happen, this is my opinion, this is what I personally believe. Now, if they're being honest and saying that's just their opinion or whatever, then, they're not acting as a false prophet. They're just telling you what their opinion is. But if they're saying this is what's going to happen, occur this day, they're acting as a false prophet. And one of the problems is that they put God and Christians in a bad light. And it makes, and it makes us look foolish. It gives, atheists and others a reason to laugh at us. Especially when they see it happen time after time, again and again and again. Another problem with it is that for those who really want to be raptured and they want to get off this earth, when they find that the rapture doesn't happen according to, people's calculations, they start to doubt God, or start to question, or start, why hasn't he come back yet? Da da da. It could dampen their faith. But I know that the devil's using some of these people to do just that. On the other hand, you also got those who go on the internet who love to say, I had a dream from God, or God told me, or God gave me a vision, and throw false prophecies out there. One prime example is Brandon Biggs. He does it all the time. He's constantly been proven wrong. And you would think that people would, call him out and stop listening to him, but unfortunately not. He still has he still has a lot of people following him. Even though he's been proven wrong time after time again. And the excuse? Well, he tried to make a statement saying something along the lines that prophets could get it wrong. Or that they could, or they can make a mistake or whatever. No. If you are truly speaking, if what you are saying is true, and if it truly did come from God, then what you said would not have been wrong in the slightest. Because everything that the old prophets have prophesied came to pass. Or that it's going to come to pass during, tribulation period. A lot of things that the Old Testament prophets said has come to pass, and they were not wrong in the slightest. Saying that a prophet that's supposed to be a prophet of God can be wrong is like saying that either God lied or that God was wrong. If it's truly from God, then that prophet would not be wrong. And God has said in his word that if someone tries to prophesy in his name and what they said did not come to pass, that you are to mark that person as a false prophet. Because again, if it was really coming from God, what that person has said would come to pass. They would not be wrong at all. Not whatsoever. Not even in the slightest. One thing we need to think about when it comes to the rapture itself is that the Father knows when it's going to happen. I think it's very arrogant when you get some people coming on the internet and saying, God told me that the rapture was going to happen this day. Sir, ma'am, what makes you think that he's telling you when he didn't even tell his own son? I mean, when Jesus was on earth and he was questioned about the coming of the kingdom and stuff, he said that he didn't even know. That only the Father knew. So what makes you think he's going to tell you when he didn't even tell his son? I'm honestly getting to the point to where I'm starting to wonder if 99% of people that are on the YouTube or TikTok, whatever, saying I had a dream or vision from God, I wonder if about 99%, I wonder how high the percentage is of them that are lying. Because a lot, it's just ridiculous. Because they're saying things and it doesn't come to pass, or what they're saying doesn't align with the Bible at all. And again, you would think that my fellow brothers and sisters of Christ would allow the Spirit of God to give them discernment so they can be aware and, stay away from the false prophets. But no, they totally ignore the Holy Spirit when he's trying to warn them. They're also ignoring him when he's trying to speak through others to tell them the truth. Because listen, for example, going back with Brandon Biggs, there's been people that have been trying to warn others about him, but yet his followers still insist that he's telling the truth. Even though it's been proven that he's contradicted himself and that he's lied, people still try to blind themselves to the truth. Whether the Holy Spirit is speaking to you personally or he's trying to speak to you through someone, when he's clearly showing you that the person that you may be listening to is not being truthful, you need to heed to that. I don't know why a lot of people are choosing their pride, because they care more about them feeling like they're right instead of the truth. You feel like that you're right, it's not going to help you. It's the truth that's going to help you. I mean, Jesus said it's the truth that sets us free. Years ago, one of my sisters, I mean, she's not a blood relative, but I have a sister. And she unfortunately lost a man that she really loved to in a very tragic way. And all this, then she lost him in a very tragic way, and unfortunately, it happened when their child was very young. She heard this guy on the internet saying that, the rapture was going to happen on New Year's Day. And this particular person, I was predicting that, he was saying this maybe 3 years ago or so. He was saying the rapture is going to happen New Year's Day. So my sister was really hoping and praying that it was going to happen because she was looking forward to being reunited with the man she loved. Well, obviously it didn't happen. Clock strikes 12, then hits 12:01, doesn't happen, and she bawls her eyes out.